In Lagos, the youth is believed to constitute about 50% of the population, that is equaling over 10 million people. Experts have described Lagos state youths as potential assets for rapid economic transformation for Lagos and the country at large. In the month of August, precisely August 12th, is International Youth Day. This is a day dedicated to drawing attention to the cultural and legal issues faced by the youth, started way back in 1999 by the United Nations. This is a day that serves as a platform for both the organization and government to address issues faced by the youth, as well as celebrate their contribution to global development. Today, we will be having a conversation with one who is at the forefront of the youth, one who represents the youth at the state government level, the Honorable Commissioner for Youth and Social Development, Honorable Mobolaji Ogunlende. My name is Estelle Mello, and this is Rapid TV. Youth are the backbone of the society. Nigeria's population is made up of the youth, large number of the youth. And if you break it down to Lagos, it's also large population is, constitutes the youth. And I'm going to first off ask you, what is your definition of a youth?
Good morning, and thank you for having me this morning, especially this week, International Youth Week. And I think there's no other way to start the engagement other than having this sort of conversations with the commissioner, the ministry, as the case may be, and interested participants like yourself. So generally, youth in Nigeria nationally is anyone between the age of 15 to 35, right? Or 18 to 35. But in Lagos, we have it defined as 15 to 35. That is the textbook version. But to me, putting into consideration so many other factors, i.e., naturally, when you go to university, you're supposed to graduate, all things being equal, between the ages of 20 and 22. Right. In Nigeria, we have people graduating at later ages due to several factors and situations, i.e. strikes, i.e. inability to do so many other things. So for me personally, the age, could move up a little bit more, bearing in mind those circumstances. But again, the textbook version is anyone between 15 to 35. But we make room and accommodate people that are slightly over than 35, just bearing in mind circumstances beyond control.
You are the Commissioner for Youth, which means you represent the large number of the Lagos population at the state level. And I am wondering, before you got appointed, what were you doing? And, what was that thing you did that made the governor look at your side, look at your space to pick you up?
Okay. So yes, prior to being appointed, right, as Commissioner for Youth, towards the end of the first tenure was my actual first actual appointment. I was appointed as the special advisor to Mr. Governor on special duties and intergovernmental relations, which was about 7 months to the end of the first tenure. It was an opportunity that presented itself, and I took it. And I had 6 or 7 months to show capacity and to show what I could do within, a few months. And I believe what I showed is what propelled me to be appointed as a full commissioner at the second administration. Prior to being appointed as special advisor, I worked in Owando in various capacities. I was in Owando spanning over 12, 13 years. I worked in different parts of the world, Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Business development, project management, head of operations, operations manager, government relations, so several capacities. But outside my professional office, I did a lot of community service back home in Badagry. I did a lot of youth programs. I did a lot of volunteerism, right? And I think these 3 aspects of what I did is what kind of propelled me into the political space. And I believe a lot of those activities is what Mr. Governor saw, and I believe some of our party leaders, and they thought, I could possibly thrive in the political space. So I think those three areas are some. I did several things in there, and you know, that covered 15 out of 17 SDGs. I was doing things to eradicate hunger, uh, infrastructure development, renovation of schools, building of boreholes, several things. And again, most people that go into the political space, these are some of the things they were doing. I was non-political, but I was doing it irrespective. And I think that, caught a lot of attention, which then led me to running for office.
So the reason I asked what you were doing before you got appointed is just simply because of what you've said. It's different when you're outside and you're trying to make things work. And when you get in, you realize it's an entirely different ballgame. I'm wondering, what have you noticed with regards to, the changes you wanted to make even when you were not in politics? What have you noticed now being in politics?
Thank you. That's a very, very brilliant question or statement, as the case may be. Because indeed, one of the things that propelled me again was when I saw the opportunity. It was an opportunity for me to stop being on the fence, actually coming in to play my own role on my own quota, as the case may be. Coming into office gives you a bigger platform to be able to do so many things. So, for example, prior to coming in, I have a foundation, I have a RAC Development Foundation, which is Real Acts of Kindness Development Foundation. We were doing several things, whether by design or default. I'm in the Ministry of Youth and Social Development. Everything I was doing with that foundation was parallel to what we're doing in the ministry, right? So what that tells me is that I have been given an opportunity or a platform to do those things on a bigger scale. Now, bear in mind, those things I was doing with my personal funds as part of my community service. However, being given the opportunity to come into the government gives you that opportunity to do it on a bigger scale. However, it is not easy, and it's not something that is easily done overnight. So coming in here, I'm able to quickly see the challenges. I'm able to see the issues. I'm able to see the bottlenecks, that makes it difficult for things to work. And there are several things, right? If we're going to be honest with ourselves. So now seeing those things and tackling it within my own capacity, making recommendations where possible. Look, the issues are big and complex. I'm not going to be able to solve everything. But the most important thing is the time that I have, what have I been able to do? Yeah. The time that I have, what did I do with it? Even if it's a couple of things that I'm able to tick the boxes on, then it's all well and good, so that the next person can come in and continue to tick those boxes.
Honorable Commissioner, you've been on for 2 years plus. What would you say have been your major achievements? And when I say major achievements, I want you to give me, in terms of statistics, in terms of impact. I want to hear the numbers from you, because it can be all over there. But, I want to hear the data from you. Give me statistics on what you've done and the impacts.
Okay, so statistics and impacts, right? We have done several things. A couple of weeks ago, in July to be precise, we were in Canada with 17 youths, thereabout. Statistics-wise, about 17 youths. How do we get this 17 individuals? We rolled out the program, one of our programs called the Ibile Youth Academy, right? It's a yearly program that we do where we have participants from across Lagos, non-political affiliated. This year, we had about 3,763 applicants, compared to last year where we had about 1,400. Why did we have 3,763? Because we did things differently. In the past, where we would have typically just rolled out the program in LASU, for example, this year we partnered with several of our higher institutions. We rolled out there. We did a lot of online advocacy. So we had a large number. Next year, I'm expecting about 10,000, right? Because of the things we have put in place. Where am I going with this? Out of 3,765, we put them through a test, a 1-week boot camp, right? We house them, and we now continue to select the best of the best. At the end of it, we reduced it to about 500. Again, they went through further boot camps and all of that. And then at the end of the day, we selected 10 in each Ibile division, right? That's making 50 across Lagos State, across the 57 local governments and LCDAs, right? And out of this, we have five ambassadors for each Ibile, and then we have a state ambassador, right? So with the five representing Ikeja, Badagry, Ikorodu, Lagos Island, and Ekpe, five of them plus one state ambassador who's like their lead. Then we had another group of transformational leaders from our NYCN, that is National Youth Council of Nigeria, Lagos State Youth Parliament, so several youth organizations. We picked, the heads, inclusive of our Ibile Youth Academy ambassadors, and we took them to Canada. Now, what we have done is they have not only been exposed, we went through a partnership or collaboration with an organization where we took them to Queen's University. They had to do models. At the end of the models, they have acquired credits. Now, if you decide to further your education internationally, you have credits from an internationally acclaimed university. They have been exposed, cultural exchange. They saw how a working system, what a working system is. Remember, a lot of our youths are only used to what they see here, right? So these 17 youth leaders have gone there, have come back, they've seen things differently, and they're coming to add to what they already know, to apply what they've learned within their community. That's one. We have 40 Lagos State Youth Parliament, members of the Lagos State Youth Parliament. They are replicating what we have in the House of Assembly. So these are 40 young leaders, that we are grooming, for political positions, as the case may be, and we're catching them young, at a very young age. And the reason being is because when you catch them young, you're able to groom them and then channel their thoughts, their mindset in a particular way so that they can do things differently. That's another random one. We have several of our participants in various, we have what we call the Business Amplifier Clinic. Last year, earlier this year, we had about 10 of them that had, been given grants. We've given them that platform to get grants from Lagos State. About 2 of them have now been able to get grants internationally because we set that platform, we set that template, and they were able to, use it to their benefit to, take it to the next level. That's another random example. We have several programs that are ongoing online, with several youths. We have one going on right now, the REX project, which is for, everybody's now AI-centric, right? We're in partnership with an organization. So 25 youths, random, I keep using the word random, but it's random because they are non-political, right? It's not a case of, the commissioner or Mr. Governor, or the permanent secretary, that's why you have been picked. No, simply based on merit, and I thrive on that, and I'm always happy and able to say it anywhere that you don't need to know anybody to get into any of our programs. Have the requirements, have the drive, have the tenacity, and go for it and believe in it, right? So we have 25 that are currently going through that REDS project right now. And as of Friday, 2, they are halfway through the training. 2 have been given jobs, right? And the idea is to be able to give the remaining 23 jobs online and real time as well. And if we're able to do this successfully, then we can replicate it on a much bigger scale.
Honorable Commissioner, I want us to take it down a bit. Now, I love the fact that you've talked about what you've done and you also mentioned AI. Interestingly, there are some people who are not aware. As much as we talk about it, there are some youth that are not aware of AI. I am going to ask you, has your car ever broken down on the street of Lagos or maybe on 3rd Mainland Bridge before?
Yes.
Because I had my own fair share of that experience. And so when we have this conversation, again, it boils down to the young people down there on the streets, people that they would tag as aberrants or people that they would tag as, touts or talks. Whether you agree with me or not, it's become a menace. It's become a problem. And these are young people under the age grade of the youth.
Yep.
And so I'm wondering, how have you been able to capture it? In your opinion, would you say Lagos is safe?
Lagos is safe, yes. Lagos is safe. Just like, but how Lagos is safe. However, there are several aspects, there are several areas that can be improved on, right? But Lagos is generally safe. Compared to many years ago, right? Even when I lived abroad and came back, Lagos was deemed unsafe. Every now and then you hear about robberies here. You hear about people with machine guns going to rob banks and all of that. We used to hear all of those things, but today we don't even hear it anymore. That's because, I mean, with what we have going on as an administration, the security infrastructure that we have going on, the collaborations we have with the private sector as a government, right? We've been able to curb many of those excesses that has made Lagos very safe. Before going into the real question, look at last year, December. We had Dirty December, right? It was big, it was global. There were no incidences, or very few incidences as the case may be. It's a city, it's a thriving city. You have people with different backgrounds, different cultures, different ways and manners of thinking. New York, is New York safe? Is London safe? Today, you hear so many issues about you can't even wear an expensive watch walking on the streets of London. You will be mugged. A couple of years ago, this was never the situation. So every city has its own peculiarity, but bringing it back home, Lagos is relatively safe. But then going back to your original question about, the group of young individuals on the streets, I call them informal youths, right? Prior to now, we call them touts, we call them agberos, but I call them informal youths. One thing that I have intentionally done within my administration is to engage. So when you ask me as Commissioner of Youth, what am I trying to do during my tenure? I'll tell you I'm trying to engage. You'll say, what does engagement mean? Engagement means, for example, running an open door policy. Was told about this yesterday. We're here today. If I'm not accessible, if I don't run an open door policy, if I'm not engaging my youths, then they will not be able to take advantage of the various programs we have for them. They would not even be able to know what it is that we're doing as a government. I will not even know what their needs, what they're yearning for. So I engage. My engagement is on the informal and formal level. So when you see me at my Kadenuga Center, speaking English and attending those seminars, you see me in Ifakojaye on the streets, doing street got talent, right? And I'll use that as a catapult to mention some of the things that we've done for the informal youth. Street got talents. What is it? As a government and as Commissioner for Youth, I know I cannot do it alone. The government cannot do it alone. We have 57 local governments and LCDAs. We say there are about 30 million people, citizens in Lagos. We say youth form about 60% of that population. So we're talking about 16, 17 million youths in Lagos. As a government, how many are we in the government to even try and cater for 16, 17 million youths? So what do? A lot of collaboration, which is what I thrive on. A lot of government involvement. You have a lot of well-meaning private individuals that are trying to do so many things. All they need is government backing. Street Got Talents, a young guy, Expantainment. I think his name is Isaac Jacob, but his organization is called Expantainment. He caught my attention. What is he doing? He goes into different communities with his musical set, and he just tells the youths that are there, come on board and let us see who has the talents. He caught my attention. He came to my office. What did? We collaborated. I went there myself, and through going there, we have made them more popular. Through going there, we have been able, the winner won a free record label recording, right? Through that initiative, the band and his partnership with MTN, they had something similar. We were able to plug into it. And all of this was because I have an open door policy. He walked into my office, engaged me, Commissioner, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm trying to do. And I rode on it. I went there myself in Ifakojaye at the bus stop, right? They were even surprised at how can you be here, no security? And the idea is I'm engaging with you. There has been a huge disconnect between the governments and the youths over many years, right? So if you have a commissioner that is not able to bridge that connect, then we're still getting something wrong. So within my capacity, I'm trying to bridge that connect through initiatives like that. Last week, we were in somewhere in Ogba. Another individual, right? We have a pandemic, in the world at large, but specifically in Nigeria, in Lagos State, which is drug abuse. This individual took his time. He's been rehabilitating students, right? He came into our office, reached out to us, guys, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm trying to do, because we know that we cannot do it alone. And this is one of the areas that we need to catch our younger, our youths at an early age. I was there in Ogba last week. We were able to collaborate, we were able to reach out to the youth, we were able to make some of them ambassadors. Again, another random initiative that we do for informal youth. A couple of months ago, we know not every youth is going to be in a white collar job, right? So we need to cater for several other industries that they are thriving in. One is food, right? Through partnership with Food Bay TV, we did what we called Street Food Niger, right? And through that initiative, random people on the streets that are cooking, right? All to get in, people in your environment just need to nominate you, right? You nominate you get an opportunity to go into the contest, showcase your cookings, your ingredients, and all of that. You go through a 3-month program. It was live on TV, and believe you me, people that we consider as informal youths that have no belief in the government, have no belief in Nigeria, have no belief in themselves, have been suddenly be given a platform to thrive on. All of them that came on that program are doing something today.
I love the ideas that you've shared with us and the initiative that you're working with as the Commissioner for Youth, and especially because you're not just doing it alone, but you're partnering and trying to engage. You talked about the fact that you run an open door policy. But it's very important that when we solve these issues, we go to the root cause. Now, oftentimes, even the youth are used as weapons. They're used as to perpetrate crimes, and not just by themselves or for themselves. They're also used by the politicians themselves. I mean, make reference to what happened in 2023. I'm talking about the answers. There were young people, when we talk about what happened, there were also young people who came out, and it caused a lot of chaos. And I'm wondering what you think if politicians are part of the problem. Because when you say you're trying to rehabilitate people, you're trying to help them and get them off the streets, there are some other persons, you are just a single individual who is trying to work this out. But there are some other persons who are perhaps at the helm of affairs who are enabling these people.
Yes, they are. Unless we want to lie to ourselves. They are. They've been there from time memorial, and they will continue to be there. So what do we do? For me, like I said earlier on, everybody has a role to play. Within my capacity as Commissioner for Youth, it is a duty for me to advocate, to encourage, and to advise, to mentor, and as much as possible to let our youth see, the different options that they have. Which is why it seems to be like I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place because, like I said today, as of today, I have 653 days left in office. Every single day counts. I must I must tick a box every single day, right? And in doing so, I'm touching lives. I'm helping lives. I'm shaping lives. I'm giving hope to some. The fact that I'm just turning up and I'm being there, right? And that is part of my roles and responsibility, right? So what do I do? Bearing in mind what you stated, what I can do is speak to you. It's just like somebody who's hooked on drugs. You can advocate, you can advise. You can't break their head and say, don't take drugs. They will take it irrespective. But when they see the pros and the cons, then they are able to make the decisions and the choices. A lot of young individuals don't even know the choices that they have. So through various platforms for me to address certain groups and certain individuals, I use those platforms to point out or to showcase the various options you have. So as a young individual, you know that you are being used, negatively, but you don't even know what the opposite is. But for me, any opportunity to engage, the ability to show you that there's this option and that option, it gives you the ability to make a choice, right? But if you don't even know you have choices, you're going down one track. And that is where some of these young persons fall under, because they don't even know what other options what other options that are there for them. So being able to give them those options is part of my own solution. Being able to advocate, some see me as a role model. right? The fact that I'm upright, the fact that I pray, the fact that I come to work every day, the fact that I'm out there doing several things, I'm motivating so many people.
Honorable Commissioner, you have less than 2 years to the
1 year, 9 months, 23 days.
Oh, to the end of your tenure. And I love the facts that you're counting it. Now, when we're talking, you made reference to the fact that when you talk about the population in Lagos, 60% constitute of the youth, or the youth constitute 60%, right? For you, what is your target to ensure that by the end of your tenure, you have a certain percentage that you would look back at and you'd say, these are the people I have groomed, these are the people I have impacted, these are the people I have taken to the next level?
Okay, so for me personally, I believe in quality over quantity. Just randomly from the top of my head, there's a young guy, Victor Ashaka, one of our programs, he's with the United Nations now. Zainab, I forget her surname, Aderoju, right? Again, through one of our programs with the United Nations, Dr. Lano Promise, he was our first ambassador in Ibile Youth Academy. Today, he's a thriving doctor. Um, in the ministry, we have, this is the Ministry of Youth and Social Development.
Yes.
A lot of times we keep talking about the youths. We also have the social development where we have, for example, 15 homes and institutions. We have the rehabilitation homes, homes of the elderly, correctional facilities. We have a lot of success stories. We have, Shegun, I won't call the last name. Shegun is one individual, came into our rehabilitation home, went through our system, the Lagos State system. Today, he has graduated from University of Lagos, right? This is somebody that had been condemned by the society. Now, as long as we have the Zainabs, the Victories, the Sheguns, the several other, young people that we have been able to impact, for me, that is the success. I'm not going to be able to touch everybody, right? The 50 young individuals that are in our Village Youth Academy today, right? These are individuals that are going to leave the program at the end of the year. They are not going to be the same. More knowledge, more training, more experience, ability to do things differently. That is a success story for me. The Lagos State Youth Parliament, that is a success story for me. The young individuals that come here and say to me, Commissioner, I have the requirements, I have what it takes, I have done X, Y, Z. All I need you to do is put a call through to somebody. And I put that call through. I run an open door policy. Half of the people that come in here, I don't even know them. I'm walking on the road and I see people running up to me, crying to say, thank you. What are you thanking me for? That letter of recommendation you gave me with my credentials and everything that I have, it got me a job. Are you serious? When did I give you a letter? For me, that is a success story. I'm doing this as part of my own selfless service, towards developing our country, developing our state, developing our communities. Those little success stories are what I would call my positive impacts and my ability to be able to make impacts on the youth. So quality over quantity. It's not about reeling out numbers to say I impacted X amount and whatnot, but the fact that there are several individuals that are benefiting, there are several individuals that their lives have been, there are several individuals that I have given hope to. For me, that is a success story. I'm not trying to do it all. I'm just trying to do what I can do within my capacity, and I will continue to do it till the very last day that I leave this seat, right? To me, that is a success story. I'm not getting carried away, which is why every single morning after my prayers, I remind myself that it is not a permanent position. It's a service to the people. It's a 4-year contract you have signed. So every single day, make sure you do something positive. Today, we're doing something positive. Yesterday, Sunday, I was at Campus Square, where, again, another private individual, under 15s, both male and female football tournament. The first team went home with about 750,000 naira. It may not be a lot of money to a lot of people, but to those young individuals, the under 15s, it gives them an opportunity to buy their football boots. Some of them don't have socks. Some of them don't have shin guards. That is an impact. That was just yesterday. On Saturday, I was in Agidingbi Rotary Club. They were doing an inauguration for another young individual who was coming on board as the next DRR, they call it, District Rotary something, right? Again, I was there to give hope to these young set of people, and my presence there ignites so many things. This week, International Youth Week. Tomorrow, right, is the International Youth Day. This is Lagos. Last year, we had several activities, right, spanning over a week. Lectures, the Business Amplifier Clinic, programs, seminars that led to the grand finale, a parade, and Mr. Governor coming to give grants and whatnot. We're doing it differently this year. Tomorrow, we're doing something completely different that'll be mind blowing. Well, it's here already, so I might as well just give you a little bit of expo. We are going as a ministry. We have what we call the Youth Technical Working Group that we set up for Lagos State. Young individuals, non-politically affiliated, doing very well in their own spaces. About 25 of them have come together as our technical working group. And what they do is all of the schematics, in our national youth policy, they've broken themselves up into different groups because they are professionals in those areas, finance, environment, as the case may be. And they're doing things and, mentoring youths all across Lagos State. So tomorrow together, to mark our the International Youth Day, whilst we're having our conference and our rollouts of the activities, we have selected one of our youth centers that we will all go to together, renovate it, hands-on policy, shows community involvement. Youths that are in that environment should come. Let us build this together for you as a people, as a government, collectively, so that you can take ownership. I'm looking forward to it, right? It's one of those initiatives that it is not written in the book, but we have decided that this is how we want to start it, just to show unity, to foster community, relations and development. Among several other things that are going to happen, this month of International Youth Week. Last year was a bang. This year is going to be a banger, because the idea is to continue to improve, on what you already have, as a template.
I am thinking of what you make of the 2025 theme for International Youth Day, which is local youth action for the SDGs and beyond. I'm wondering what you make of the theme and, its impacts for us here in Lagos.
Well, as you know, in the next 20 years, thereabout, it's all going to be themed around the SDGs. We have 17 SDGs that cuts across, all of the issues, that we face as individuals, as human beings, as communities, as a government, as a nation, right? So building this year's theme around SDGs and beyond, I think is a very strong foundation, because if we start to catch them young and we're building, policies around SDGs and for now and the future, then everybody starts to catch that wave. AI, for example, that you mentioned earlier on, not everybody is on AI, but AI is the future. But as a state, as a ministry, we're trying to bring people up to speed with AI. The earlier we're able to bring our youths up to it, the faster they catch it and adjust, to what is to come of the future. So same with SDGs. If we're looking at SDGs and beyond, and it starts with the local youth, that means from the grassroots, from the community. Look, before we get to Abuja or to the central, it starts from the local grassroots. So catching them from the local grassroots, making them aware, fine-tuning them and their mindsets into SDG and beyond, it would then cascade to the states, which is where we are. It would then cascade, to the nation, right? So for me, I think it's a very solid foundation that we're laying, that has been laid by, that United Nations for the local youth actions for SDGs and beyond. So for us as individuals, as a government, as organizations, and what have we, is to catch it, make meaning of it, whatever it means to you. Let it mean something to you, and see how you can cascade it within that community. I've been invited for a talk tomorrow through the Dangote Foundation, for example. They have recoined, the theme. It's still aligned, but they are recoining it to bring in digital innovation and technology. So again, we all see things very differently, right? So the template has been set. Make of it what makes sense to you and ensure you roll it out. So for me, I think it's a very solid platform, a foundation, because in anything that you do, if the foundation is not solid, then everything else comes down. So if the people, our young people at the local grassroots, are not even understanding what this SDGs business is about, then there's nothing for them to propel into. But having this as a theme for the International Youth Day, right? All youths are going to key into it in one way, shape, or form. And once they key into it, then it just gives us that opportunity and that platform to be able to, cascade it and reel out as many activities around this as much as possible.
Honorable Commissioner, just as we wrap up this conversation, I want to find out for you what your idea of accountability. So how do we hold you accountable for what you've done, what you've promised to the people that you would do?
Okay, well, for me, accountability is the ability, to be held accountable, right? We're in the social media era, right? Nothing is hidden anymore. Which is why, like I keep saying, I'm transparent, I run an open door policy, and that gives everybody the opportunity to hold me accountable, right? Whilst I'm sitting on this table. I've had several people call me randomly to ask questions. I've had several people write letters, which we respond to. I've had several people challenge or ask questions when we're at seminars and all of that. Everything we do is there, right? As long as you channel your energy towards the right direction, as a citizen, as a youth, as an individual, you have rights. You have a right to question, right? I'm a public service office holder. I'm responsible for you, right? So you can hold me accountable in everything that I do. So in any way, shape, or form, however it works for you, social media, asking me questions as an individual, coming into the office, I run an open door policy. If you have a question, you come into the office to ask. You can bring your crew to ask your question. You came in here today, right? I only heard about this yesterday, and it was an opportunity for us to speak to the people through your forum, which I appreciate. A couple of months ago, we had what we call ministerial briefing, where we sit down and we reel out, all of our activities that we've done over the year. We give all media houses the opportunity to come there undiluted to ask questions, right? So that's another way that I'm being held accountable, to the people of Lagos, to my youths, and to individuals, at large. So any way it makes sense to you to hold me accountable, continue to hold me accountable.
Honorable Commissioner, would you say the funds that have been released to your ministry have so far been judiciously used so far?
Of course. Each fund is accounted for. The funds that we get are what we request for, right? And each fund is attributed to a particular program or to a particular activity, right? And there's a system in place, right? To account at every single step, to be audited, for what we spend. Of course, I'm not in the accounts department, but again, as a political head, it is within my responsibility, within my capacity, and within the tenets of what I see to ensure that things are done properly. Look, for me, the future is bright, and I'm still young at this, and there's the road ahead is still very far. So definitely, every single thing that I do is all about accountability. It's all about transparency, right? It's all about professionalism, right? So people are watching. So if I do anything to mess up what I'm doing now, then I'm not going to be able to move forward. But because I really want to continue to move forward and continue to make an impact, within my community, within the state, within the nation at large, then I must ensure that I'm dotting the I's and crossing the T's in everything that I do.
A year, 9 months, 23 days. Talk to me. Do you intend to contest for 2027 election?
At this particular point in time, I have no intentions. And like I said to you earlier on, contesting for office means several things. I have run for House of Representative previously. I have my ideologies, I have my beliefs as what it should be. But right now, I have a job. My job is the Honorable Commissioner of Youth and Social Development. So I'm staying focused on my job for now. And then, we'll see what the future holds.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner. It's been amazing talking to you.
Thank you very much.
And that has been the Honorable Commissioner for Youth and Social Development. Indeed, we have to engage the youth and ensure that we create an enabling environment, but most importantly, hold our leaders accountable. My name is Estelle Mello, and this is Rapid TV.